All right, guys, we are back for Secret Level Season 1, presumably. I'm not sure if this is a one off or if it's not, but we are on the
Oh,
second half of this and another 7 episodes to go. And we just got done watching it. Now, this is a non spoiler discussion. So, um, guys, what did you think about the first half? And then what did you think about what we've gotten so far the
I
second
mean,
half?
before we dive into it, I do want to say that I think it would be a mistake if they didn't make a season two of this because it's like, I mean, I hate to compare shows, but I feel like what they've done with these first two parts have been it's been incredible, especially for an anthology series. We have certain shows. I mean, again, I hate to compare shows, but such as What If, where that was the whole idea of it to do each episode differently to tell different stories, a whole bunch of different possibilities, and not have to intertwine any of these stories. But the route that they kind of went down, although it's fun at times, it just was not. I don't think it could have been something different, and I feel like Secret Level kind of has that potential, and not swinging and not doing a season two would be, I think, a mistake. And I think that they have something special here, especially with what we've witnessed. Whether it was a 5 minute episode or a 20 minute episode, they were able to just give us a decent story within that small span of time, which really had us connected to these characters that we've known for like 4 minutes. You know what I'm saying? So it's been really really cool.
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh,
I dug the first part of this season. Like it was just a unique back and forth between different IPs, and yet the best compliment I can give it is that we wanted more, especially out of stuff like the Sifu and the Warhammer one, and the fact that the Pac-Man one is getting a game out of it. That's wild to me. And to me, what we've seen of part two, we had like different emotions going through these episodes. We had the joy, we had the adventure, and then we had almost like a depressing episode. And like I like that they could do that. It wasn't all just cute stuff, if you will, to watch and whatnot. Like I like that we got to put through the ringer and within just a few minutes, and that says a lot about the writing and the artist behind each episode and how much detail they went through to add characteristics and tone.
Yeah. What I will say to be the devil's advocate with this, I do think the show itself functionally is amazing as an anthology. Like, there's nothing like what you've seen from what they've done with this. I think if it was on a different network, like if it was on Netflix, this would be like smoking and cooking because it's on Prime. People will see it, but it doesn't have the kind of same marketability as something that would come from like Netflix. But I will say, coming off the first half to the second half, there are going to be some episodes that you're going to be eagerly anticipating. I'm not going to say what they are, but there are some that are cut a little short. Like some are like 5 minutes, some are like less than 10 minutes. And so make sure you tailor your expectations accordingly. You will get a visual immersive moment, and I think you're going to get a good little story, but it's only a small little gristle. And I think the best thing I can kind of compare it to is Star Wars Visions. Like Star Wars Vision and Star Wars Visions 2 are great in their own right, but sometimes they are really short, and then sometimes they're a little bit longer, but they are fulfilling. And I think that if anything I can say about the second half versus the first half, it is still very fulfilling. There are certain episodes that are going to make you emotionally feel stuff that you just didn't anticipate, and that's what I think doing great storytelling is all about. Because even when I think about Star Wars Visions, there was some episodes that broke my heart, and then there was some that just cheered me up very quickly. And I think that this is the way you can kind of cement what this series is as a whole. I do think I was really more hyped for the first half going through it, and I was scared as well because I didn't know the thing I guess about like even like Star Wars Visions versus like What If versus this. Amazon just doesn't care. They have no limit. They will use curse words. They will use blood, gore, violence. There's no limits here, and I think that that's one of the things that's a clear distinction between anime versus what we do as far as animation, because anime has no limitations. And I think that's one of the things that this show has at its capability. And I think that it could be something really special. But but yeah, I think that there are definitely some nods. There's some things that are really cool. I did not anticipate to see certain characters, even for a brief stint. But I think it was worth it to kind of go through the gamut with this. But I am going to try to rewatch part of the second half again, because I feel like there's some more stuff that they're going to kind of throw my way. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. What are some of the things you love? Go ahead.
So I feel like and again I don't necessarily think this is a bad thing. I want to put that out there first. But I feel like the one thing that part one felt like, it felt like a giant advertisement. It was like, in a sense, and that's not a bad thing, you know? There was times where it's like they're introducing me to IPs that I've never even heard of. And it made me want to be like, okay, how much is this game? You know, maybe I can check it out. And then there's times where they introduce, say, the Pac-Man episode, and we're like, what the hell are they doing? And then they end up announcing like, hey, we're making a video game based on this. You know what I'm saying? So it's like there are times throughout this part where I'm just like, wow, they just gave us a taste of something really, really cool. And I honestly feel as though I'm being teased. Like, if they don't announce something because of how much you enjoy that episode specifically, you'll be like, okay, like I need more of this. I don't care if it's a series, I don't care if it's a video game, I don't care what it is, but they leave you wanting more, which kind of it kind of sucks in a sense because it's an anthology series, so you know when it comes to another episode, we're not getting a continuation, at least not in this season. So they do give you that feel where you want more, you need more, and again, that I think that's good writing. Yeah, they wrap up what they want to tell, but at the same time, you fall in love with these characters in such a small span of time. You're just like, I need more of that. And speaking of falling in love, there's certain episodes where you're just gonna be like, dude, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like you know, you're gonna be questioning people's actions. You're gonna want to talk to them, you know, and be like, hey man, like get your shit together, you know. But there's it's fun. It's interesting, very interesting. But yeah,
I think
it's sometimes it's out of this world, man. It's interesting.
is that a pun in there? I agree. Like, I think if you're a gamer, the most hard part is that you want more, and this is all we're getting, just these two parts of this season. But you can tell that the folks behind each frame are nerds like us.
They care.
And like, oh, we got keys to the kingdom for like a few minutes. Oh shit, we're gonna what the hell we want with it. And so I appreciate that I could feel that through each second, if you will. And yeah, man. Again, to echo is basically like, there's some stuff that I'm not too big fan of, but I'm like, oh, even that got me hooked from the outside. And I can only imagine to fellow gamers and friends of ours that are more bigger fans of some of these IPs that they're gonna be like, what the heck? And then so yeah, I respect that, and I dug that.
And I think there's a little bit of little salt for everyone, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like there's gonna be things that maybe I might have been a little more excited about than some other people, but realistically, there were episodes that were just really story driven, and you're like, wow, this is a lot of story in a short span of time. And then there's episodes where you're like looking at every individual corner of the screen because there's so many different Easter eggs. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like there's some stuff that's so story driven for someone who just wants a really valid story. Then there's stuff that's just there for the fans, and it's like a little love letter to us. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I think there's a little bit of everything in here for everyone, and I think this has been a really really cool series. Like we need more of this. That just goes without saying. We need more of this.
Yeah. Did y'all have a favorite episode and why?
Shit. Ronan, you go first. I need some time.
I mean, it's kind of a given, but I think from the first part, the Sifu and the Warhammer one were top tier. Although the Zanks or whatever that robot was that like was in a little like battle arena.
Unreal tournament.
Yeah, I like that one, and I kept saying that I wanted a statue of that robot.
Yeah.
I just found it so unique and how it went out of its way to uphill the person running the arena, if you will. And I'll say there's an episode of part two that we've seen thus far that I liked, but I liked it for different reasons, not just enjoyment, but for another reason that you'll have to tune into for that. So those few.
Yeah, and I know exactly what you're talking about. But for me, there's something that I wish we got a little more of. And I don't know if I'm allowed to even say episode numbers because I think they've already released what episode belongs to each number. But
Yeah.
there's one episode that I feel like was very short, but in that span of time, it just made me love and just want more. But for part one, I honestly, as much I love the Warhammer episode, I really did. But episode two, there was just something about the amount of action, but on top of that, the emotion that we got between the little old lady and the main character. Just that little reveal where she realizes that he's the same person, that he's not the grandfather. It's just he's like, oh, was the 60 years of you putting into these dumplings, was that worth it? Then she looks at him and he's like, I don't know, you tell me. And I just think that little bit of writing is some of the best shit that we've gotten. And it's just they really did a phenomenal job, man. But I think episode 2, amazing stuff. And then one of the episodes in part 2, I can't really be saying this shit.
How about you, Sam?
Oh man, I think it's between Pac-Man and Warhammer. Not even gonna lie to you. Pac-Man actually traumatized me. To be quite honest with you, I don't know if y'all seen the reaction. Look at Busy's channel. Look at Ron's
TikTok,
channel.
yeah.
But
Oh man,
that joint freaked me out, and yeah. But I think that Warhammer was the one that I was like, I need more. Like I need this in my veins. I need to see more. I want to see where this goes. I wanted to pick up a controller and just play from that point on. Because like honestly, like I used to be a Gears of War fan. Like Gears of War, like is that same kind of like gritty and like, and I think that felt that same exact way. It felt like I could pick up a controller and just keep going. And I think if you make me feel that with an adaptation, that's an accomplishment. We've had great, game adaptations, but nothing that makes you want to literally pick up a controller and start playing immediately. So that's where I'm kind of at. But I can only guess what Busy's whatever.
Yeah, I mean, fun stuff,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, what is our final rating on part 2?
Thus far, like it's still just as engaging as the first part for me, and like that I'm glad they didn't wait too long to release part 2. And I hope people see it enough to get the attention, but no, we want more. This is good stuff. Like this, as long as we wait for games coming out, this is something fun and unique to get in the meantime. While these franchises that we want more adventures of in canon, we can do as one-off stories. So yeah, I go the 9 out of 10 thus far.
I think if we're doing number grading, then I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. So yeah, it's been solid. It was really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really good.
Yeah, I mean, I think the first half was a 10 out of 10, easy, and I think the second half, I think it's just such an interesting twist on how they handle the story progression. So I may need to kind of rewatch, but it's nothing less than 9.5 for me. I'm anticipating watching this again and probably continue to talking about it. So yeah, this is good.
Nice.
All right. Ronan, where can everybody find your content?
You can find me at Ronan Jane on YouTube, on all the socials. Best know we're covering a couple of gaming stuff there. We have our own podcast for one. And go check out my Creature Commandos coverage and my freak out over the last premiere of the Game Awards, which was a delight to get. Yeah. And I want to reach 1,000 subs before Christmas.
It was out of this world. Dare I say intergalactic. Busy, where can everybody find you?
You can find me everywhere at Busy Braun and over here doing reviews.
Yes, sir. All right, guys, we're gonna go. Thank you guys so much for watching, and Merry Christmas. Peace, everybody.